Grave digger report. Let's go. Monster. Let's go. Get up and get it. You gotta get out of your rhythm. And you gotta get up and get motivated and to cultivate another way you can live it. I've been an underdog and I've been treading hard and I don't take
Everyone, thank you for joining the Grave Digger Show. This is Jeremiah Graves, aka the Grave Digger Report. We have a special guest today by the name of Jahkari Grant. He's a quarterback at Virginia Union, and we're going to go ahead and add him to the show. Hey, Jahkari, how's everything? How's everything going for you, sir?
Everything's good. Everything's good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. You know, I'm doing good. Enough about myself. Let's hear about you. Quarterback at Virginia Union, dual quarterback. 6'3", 205, just threw 4 touchdowns yesterday. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday was a good day for us as an offense. We had to get our pass game going because the past couple games we've been feeding our good running back that we have, Jada Byers, and deservedly so. He's a good player, but we had to get our rhythm going in the pass game so teams can game plan for both and not just try and load the box and stop him. So throwing 4 touchdowns and throwing for about 250 yards was a good thing for us as a team. The coaches were happy to see that.
I know they were. So this is your second time throwing 4 touchdowns in one game. So that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to be too modest. This is your second time throwing 4 touchdowns in one game. I knew 1 touchdown was for 62 yards, correct?
Yeah, 62.
Okay, so how is the wide receiving core and your combination and just collaborating with them? Is this something that you guys work on in practice, or how does that work?
Well, it started like before practice. Like I'm from Connecticut, by the way, so I'm from around 9 hours away, and I drove down here early this summer, like around early July, to work with the guys, the receivers that we have, and we have a talented receiving core, like from like the number 1 guys to the number 3s, like all of them are capable of playing on our team and starting on any other team, I feel like, in the CIAA. So we work hard in practice with getting time in, and like whenever we have a free period where the receivers and the quarterbacks aren't like in the team period and we're doing special teams or something, we always like go off to the side and like work on like routes that we have in the game plan for that week and stuff that we need to work on and like sharpen up our game. So we're constantly working. We're always in good communication with each other. Like we usually we have watched film together. Like usually like every position splits up. Like you know how it goes. Mm-hmm. But at the receiver and quarterback room, we get together and watch film. So we're on the same page. Like we see the coverages, so the receivers know like when they see a certain coverage, they know like they're number 1 in that progression. If that makes sense.
Definitely understood. So do you guys practice a lot of 7-on-7 per se?
Yeah, we do 7-on-7 every day. We do good on good with our defense, and we also do like our scout periods. So we get a lot of work in with our 7-on-7.
Good, great. So as far as for yourself, you stated that you're actually from Connecticut. And what part of Connecticut are you from?
Windsor, Connecticut, right next to the capital, Hartford.
Okay, great. And you played high school football there. I see that you threw for about 3,000 yards your senior year and about 38 touchdowns. So throwing 4 touchdowns or just, about 6 or 7 wouldn't be easy, for a difficult task for yourself.
My senior year, we did air the ball out a lot. My junior year, we really, I was getting worked into the program because I was new there. Mm-hmm. So my senior year, the coach really put the team like more in like my hands because he had me, and we had some other skill guys that were like Division I players. Like we had a guy that went to Pitt, a guy that's at Penn State now. So we had some weapons around me. So he really put it in my hands, and we just aired the ball out, and we ended up having a great season. We made it all the way to the state finals. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we had a good team, and throwing for 3,000 yards was definitely an accomplishment. I wrote down in my journal before the season I wanted to throw for 3,000 yards, so it felt good to accomplish that goal.
Okay, you did that. So as of right now, you're at Virginia Union, D2 school. You're ranked, as one of the top, HBCU quarterbacks as of right now, and you actually transferred to Virginia Union. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. Coming out of high school, I originally went to the University of Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
They were one of the first Division I schools to recruit me because my junior year they had a 7-on-7 tournament in my high school. We went up to the tournament and we ended up winning the tournament. We beat every team by like a good amount. Like I don't think we had any close games when we were up there. So I was on their radar from then. They watched me through my junior year and my senior year when I ended up having a breakout year, throwing for 3,000 yards and having 38 touchdowns. Uh, they pulled the trigger and they offered me,
Okay.
and I went there. I redshirted my freshman year, and I was behind a great quarterback. His name was Juwan Lawson. He was a good player, a good guy to learn from. He was an all conference guy in the CAA, and he's taught me like many things. Like a lot of stuff that I do now is like I learned from him because he was the same type of quarterback as me, dual threat, able to throw and run. So I took a lot of stuff that he taught me and put it in my game now. And after he left, I was in a quarterback competition with a quarterback named Vito Priori. He's
Mm-hmm.
from Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
And me and him battled it out throughout spring ball and throughout camp, and they just gave him the nod, which I respect because he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sat back and watched that year as we kind of struggled that year. We went 2-9. So the next year, we ended up getting a new offensive coordinator named Patrick Murphy,
Okay.
and we got some new offensive we got a tight ends coach that was new, and a new offensive line coach. So we brought in some new pieces, and then they brought in a lot of the recruits that they wanted to come in. Like we got an FBS transfer, Kasim Hill at quarterback, and we got another FBS transfer named Brandon Robinson. Those are all both my guys. They're both cool, but they gave them more like the nod to the battle out as the 1 and 2, and I kind of like fell to the wayside, and they asked me to play receiver.
Right. Right.
Yeah, which I did for a while. This was like during spring ball of this is the spring season of 2020, like the COVID year where everybody was playing in the spring. It
Mm-hmm.
was around that time. And as I was playing receiver, I ended up hurting my groin. So I was like basically like out for the spring really.
Mm-hmm.
And like during that time, I just had a lot of time to think about like what I wanted to do, what I wanted to do with my career. And my mom she told me to make a decision. So
Right.
I just went with my heart one day and just told her, Mom, I want to transfer. And she said, well, you got to talk to your coach. And I talked to Coach Fleming,
Mm-hmm.
and he understood everything because me and him had a good relationship. Like we had no problems with each other. And he just said he wishes the best for me. And if I needed any of his help, like with recruiting or the transfer process, that he would help me. And when I went into the transfer portal, I had in my mind that I wanted to go to an HBCU because my father is really like avid about HBCUs. He wanted me to go to one out of high school, but like going around that time, HBCUs weren't as popular. So I was like, I'm not going to an HBCU. Like I wasn't even thinking about it. But when I had the chance to like really choose where I wanted to go,
Mm-hmm.
I chose the HBCU route. And the schools that I ended up coming down to was Virginia State and Virginia Union, a 30-minute drive right next to each other. And when I went on my visit, we got to a hotel in Richmond. But the plan originally was to visit Virginia State first because that's where like my parents were more like on the Virginia State side. And I just wasn't sure because I wasn't partial to either one. And the morning we were going to visit, I said, we're closer to Richmond, so we might as well just go to Union first. And when I took my visit, I just like fell in love with the school, like the family atmosphere that they had, and Coach Parker and Coach Acciani was the quarterback coach at the time. I just had a good relationship with them. And when we left the visit, I just had like a good feeling about Union for some reason. Like I don't know what it was. It was just like I had a good feeling about it. And I said, I don't even want to visit Virginia State. Like I just want to commit now.
I know
So
that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I called Coach Parker. I just told him like I'm gonna commit, and they were excited. I was excited, and it was just time to work from there.
Well, you know, it's nothing like going to a HBCU and having that family atmosphere and that culture, and it's citric and it's holistic. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like other schools, but just with the tradition as well too. They say if you haven't been to a HBCU or played at a HBCU, you definitely don't know the feeling. So I definitely know that, coming from USC down to Albany State. So, brother, I could definitely relate to you. As far as for the support that you had with your mother and your father, I know that they play a pivotal role in, your success and also with your athletics. Tell me and the viewers and the listeners, a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, my parents are really big in my life as far as like sports. My father was a good basketball player in Connecticut, and he had like he had HBCU offers to play in high school. I mean, to play in college at the next level, but he had like some eligibility issues, and he wasn't able to follow that dream of his.
Mm-hmm.
But they always have like pushed us, me and my brothers, uh, to play sports, and they want us to do our best. And they like supported like everything that we wanted to do as far as like camps and like clinics and like AAU basketball tournaments. My father was my AAU coach. My
Okay.
mother was the team mom and my Pop Warner team. So like they were like always really involved, even though like as far as like financially things may not have always been easy,
Right.
and it may not have been easy for them to work together because they're not married anymore. So it was like always difficult with that. But like either way, they always ended up putting us first, and they made this necessary sacrifices to for us to reach our goals. Like even with my mother growing up, like in high school, my school system wasn't really the best, so she wanted me and my brother to go to a private school. Both my parents wanted us to go to a private school, and we ended up choosing St. Thomas More in Oakdale, Connecticut.
Okay.
And that was a huge sacrifice because it's a private boarding school, so
Mm.
it costed a pretty penny. So she made the sacrifice. We ended up moving in with my grandmother, so like the finances could like work out. We didn't have to like worry about like the mortgage and like other bills. So she just worked on paying like for our school, our tuition there. But then it was a good experience to be somewhere different as far as being at St. Thomas More, but it just wasn't the football aspect wasn't really working out because we weren't really too successful. Like ended up being like 1-7, and we had a season where we were 0-8, and that season we were 0-8. Windsor High School, the town that I'm from, ended up
Mm-hmm.
winning a state championship.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was like, Ma, I think I want to go back to Windsor. And she was like, well, if you're going to go back, I need you to make sure that you stay on your grades, because that was the one thing that she wanted me to focus on. That's why she sent me and my brother away. I said, you won't have to worry about it. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to make sure that I have good grades. And the end result is I want to make sure that you don't have to pay for me to go to college since you paid for me to go to school now. So that was the one of the biggest things I was proud of, for my mother not have to pay for me to go to college.
Yeah, that's every student athlete's goal, whether male or female, is not being able to pay for college, and not put that monetary stress on the parental guidance that is given to us, as the student athlete. And it paid off because I see that you're actually a grad student at Virginia Union, correct? And you have real good grades as of right now. So tell the viewers a little bit about that, because the Grave Digger Report would definitely want to highlight on that. We're big on the student athlete on the field, but actually off the field within the classroom.
Yeah, so I initially got my bachelor's degree in excuse me, in communications at the University of Rhode Island. And when I was transferring to Virginia Union, I was looking to see if they had a master's program in like the field that I already had my degree in, but they didn't, because like they were fairly new and like coming up with master's programs. So I was looking, and I just ended up like just picking political science because I just felt like that was something I didn't really learn much about, and I wanted to try something new. And I ended up being like pretty good at it, and I ended up having like a 3.8 GPA my first year here. So I was pretty excited about that. My mom was too, because that's the highest GPA I've had since high school. So she was proud of that, and I was too.
Good stuff. Good stuff. That's definitely good stuff. So on the class field, or in the class, you're great, and also on the field you're great as well too. So let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. You're a quarterback at a HBCU. You
Mm-hmm.
actually pass the eye test. When scouts come to the practice, or they come to the games, or they watch on the video, as far as on the internet, they see great things. As far as for the listeners and the viewers on the Gravedigger Report, this platform is to find diamonds in the rough, and actually seeing the picture before the frame. And I was able to see that once I was on the internet and looking at some of your videos as well too, looking at your past history, and also what you're doing as of right now. Far as just showcasing who you are for listeners and viewers, and for scouts, for future scouts as well too. What what should they know about you as an individual on the field?
What they should know about me, I'm a tough kid. Like, I've already faced a lot of adversity in my life, as far as like growing up and other things that I had to deal with personally. So like, I take football very seriously, and like the things that I go through on the field, nothing will be able to like shake me. Like, no matter if I get a big hit or things are going south, I'm always going to stay like right in the middle. Like, I'm never going to get too high, never going to get too low. Because that's one of the biggest things as a quarterback. Like, things could be going really good and you could get too high and you could end up like slipping a little bit, or things could get bad and you could just go down and things will just keep going down for you. So you always have to stay like level headed no matter what the situation is. Like, we won 69-0 yesterday, but I always stayed in the middle, like, because there's always little things you can improve on to be that much better. So that's one of the things that I would want people to know about me. Like, I'm just a mentally strong kid, is what's something I would say. And just I have a lot of ability on the field, which you'll be able to see if you watch the tape. I can
Right.
throw, I can run. It's just like there's not much on the field that I really can't do. There's nothing on the field that I can do, if I'm being honest with you. So no matter what scheme you would like to run, I'll be able to do it, because we line up in two tight ends, I formation. We can run the ball and throw deep shots out of that, or we'll line up in empty and throw the ball out of that, and we could do some QB run stuff. So I'm versatile. There's nothing I really can't do. That's the main thing I would say.
Okay, so as far as for what scheme do you prefer? Is there a scheme that you prefer? Do you prefer shotgun? Do you prefer pro style offense? Do you prefer putting your hand underneath the center? Are you open to audibles? You should be open to audibles, such as that, reading the defense. What scheme do you actually prefer?
Uh, Preferably what I've been doing most of my life, I've been a spread quarterback. Like in high
Okay.
school, we ran the spread, and in Rhode Island, we ran the spread offense. And Union is the first time since like Pop Warner where I really got into like a pro style offense, like under center I formation, and running power and doing like play action off of it and all that type of stuff. But I'm really open to doing anything. And as far as like the audibling thing, like our offense is like, the run game is heavily reliant on me to like get us in the right play, if that makes sense. As far as like
Yeah.
numbers on the defense. So I have the football knowledge to be able to like get us in the right play no matter what the situation is.
Understood. Now, as far as for flexibility, as far as the schemes, and also showcasing the scouts as of right now, like I said, I'm still on the 4 touchdowns that you threw yesterday, and also the 4 touchdowns that you threw a couple weeks ago as well too. As far as for the flexibility, what type of workouts were you doing during what type of workouts were you actually being able to do while we were in COVID? Because I know that COVID, you had athletes that were and weren't able to go to the facilities. What type of regiment that you were actually participating to have these type of results? Because your results are off the charts.
Yeah, COVID, it was tough because in the beginning I was really just doing stuff in my house. Like,
Okay.
I had some resistance bands and like a pull-up bar and like little things that I was able to use. And then I would like work out with my I have a quarterback coach at home. He goes by the deaf QB coach because he's the only deaf quarterback coach in the country. And
Okay.
he's a great coach. He trains me. He trains his son also, who's a starter at Stony Brook University. So he has some good quarterbacks that he trains, and I was working with him. And as COVID like went on, I was able to work out with some of my friends that play college football. One of my friends, Jason Pinnock, he was at Pitt at the time, and they sent home like a program that they had them doing, and I would go to his house, which is probably about 20 minutes away from where I lived, and we would go to his basement. We would lift, and we would do some like field work, and he would catch for me since he was my receiver in high school, but he plays DB currently now for the New York Giants. So me and him would just get together and work out, and we would like bring some of the other guys along that we played with that were home. So it was like just everybody that I was with in high school, we all got together and just started working so we could be ready when our time was called to play again.
Well, I can tell you this, that is definitely showing. It's definitely showing, and I wish you the best. For the rest of the season, the Gravedigger Report is going to continue to follow you, and I definitely would love to have you back. So you can talk about your plans, after the season, and go from there. As far as for yourself, there's anything that you would like to conclude with to the viewers and also to the followers within your community and also for your school?
To conclude, I would say just for everybody to keep eye out because Union's going to do something real special this year, something that hasn't been done in a long time. And as far as my community, I live from a small community in Windsor, Connecticut. Everybody's very supportive. They still keep tracking. My high school coach actually texted me yesterday, and he told me he was proud of me. And I told him that a lot of the life lessons that he gave me helped me push through a lot of adverse situations that I've been through from my journey from being at Windsor High School to Rhode Island to where I am now. So
right.
I just say that I'm always having community on my mind, and I always keep Connecticut pride with me.
Well, you continue to do so, and the Gravedigger Report definitely supports you. And Jahkari, we wish you the best, and we'll be speaking to you soon, sir.
All right, thank you for having me.
Definitely. So this concludes one episode with the Gravedigger Report. Please stay tuned for the next episode. You can follow me, the link below, www.gravediggerreport.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, gravedigger_report. Until then, everything in moderation, including moderation.
Gravedigger Report. Let's go. Monster.